Here is what I find to be two very interesting definite integrals. We have the area under the curve 2 over 1 plus x squared over the interval from 0 to 1. And the second example, we have the area under the curve 1 over 1 minus x squared over the interval from negative 1/2 to 1/2. What you might want to do is pause the video, see if you can try these on your own, and see if you get the correct answer. So assuming that you've paused the video and given it a try, let's go ahead and show these somewhat simple but very interesting definite integrals. First of all, we have 2, but the integral of 1 over 1 plus x squared is equal to the arctangent of x, because remember that the derivative of arctangent of x is 1 over 1 plus x squared, evaluated from negative 1 to 1. So, if you recall, the arctangent of 1, think of the angle that has a tangent of 1, that's pi over 4. And then we subtract the value evaluated at negative 1, 2. And again, we want the arctangent of negative 1. In other words, the angle that has a tangent of negative 1, that's negative pi over 4. So we evaluate this and simplify. We get pi over 2 minus, looks like a negative pi over 2. Our final answer is pi. What we're saying here then is that the area under this curve right here, from negative 1 to 1, that area is actually pi. One of the very many ways in mathematics that the number pi can be created. And you may recall that pi is approximately equal to 3.1416 taken to 4 decimal places. In the second example, we're finding the area under 1 over the square root of 1 plus x squared on the interval from negative 1/2 to 1/2. And 1 over the square root of 1 minus x squared, that's the derivative of arc sine. So this is quite simply arc sine of x. And remember that if you're evaluating a definite integral, plus c is not necessary, negative 1/2 to 1/2. And then so evaluating this, we're thinking the arc sine of 1/2, what is the angle that has a sine of 1/2? That's pi over 6. Minus the value at negative 1/2, the arc sine of negative 1/2, in other words, the angle that has a sine of negative 1/2 is negative 1 pi over 6. And it looks like we have as our final answer pi over 3. So the area under this curve is pi over 3, or approximately 1.0472 taken to 4 decimal places. That would be the area under this curve from negative 1/2 to 1/2.